We're looking at all kinds of different ways that people say today that people can get saved. Ever wondered about the Bible's salvation plan in comparison to all those various and different so-called salvation plans being championed out there today? We've heard various ways to become saved in quotes. There are many different ways people say that one can become saved out there today. So-called salvation plans, in quotes, or ways to be converted or born again. It can be very confusing and frustrating and disheartening to the honest-hearted seeker. So we want to do our best today to help all of you folks in regards to this question, try to clear this up a little bit. Now, you're probably seeing these lights flashing, and many do not realize that these fad salvation plans were invented in very recent history. This alone ought to set off warning bells, sirens, and flashing lights. Oh, okay. So they did sound. All right. You ask, why should the alarms be going off? Well, consider that people were saved, died, went to heaven according to the original salvation plan for over 1,000 years before some enterprising evangelist concocted and invented a new plan that was not taught nor practiced for over 1,000 years. Now, yes, they will point to a scripture here and there, but it was not the original salvation plan. It was not the original way to get born again. Yes, there's scriptures, and all scripture is important, valid, and has a purpose. But I submit to you that these folks have concocted this new stuff. If you do your historical diligence, you'll find it's basically so they could put kind of a notch in their belt and say, these many people got saved in my ministry. So as the years progressed, these methods became simpler and simpler and simpler until it's so simple there's pretty much nothing to it. It was not really based in a biblical happening or event, although they would point to a scripture. So now we all know there is only one way to go to heaven. Since we can pinpoint in history when these new plans were invented, we know right off they have to be bogus. So that's important to consider as you narrow the field, if you will. Now, these fad salvation plans are kind of like fad diets. There's no shortage of them. There's various plans of fad diets and methods out there, but like the fad salvation plans, these fad diets, well, they don't work, folks. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but it is the truth. Although these people frequently point to scriptures, that's not the way that the original salvation took place in the Bible. And we'll see that in just a moment. We're looking here at a picture with a pink background. There's a lady that took her place in the Guinness Book of World Records as being the smartest lady in the world. And she basically said that the biggest lie that was perpetrated against humanity was that everyone can be saved according to any old plan. They'll always lead to heaven, if you will. That's the biggest lie, she said, that has been perpetrated on humanity. Obviously, all roads cannot lead to heaven. But what adds to this confusion is that the champions of each of these opposing so-called salvation methods, they point to Scripture to validate their methods. After all, these contradictory methods cannot all be right. Keep in mind, many of them say that their way is exclusive. It's the only one thing that you do and you are saved. That's what many say today. I got one thing. There's a whole big Bible out there and they say one thing, that's it. Well, if their one thing is not the same as someone else's one thing in their fad salvation plan, well, guess what? Those contradict each other, and somebody's got to be wrong. If it isn't the same one thing as someone else says, well, they can't both be right. Truth is, there is only one way to genuinely be biblically saved, contrary to pop culture Christianity. If you are in local Birmingham, Alabama, we want to connect with you and help you today. please contact us at the email address listed on your screen. May God bless you. Thank you for the time spent with us, and have a wonderful born-again, blessed day.